Yahoo News, 25th of July 2023, Muslims who oppose LGBTQ+ pride are disregarding Islam's inclusionary history. Islam has been pushing its views on civilized Western countries and attempting to compel them to do so. Every summer, Pride is observed worldwide to support diversity, acceptance, and human rights for LGBTQ+ people. Pride is more crucial than ever to raise awareness of LGBTQ+ groups and fight discrimination in light of the recent reaction against them in Canada and internationally. Some Muslim communities in Canada and the US have recently demonstrated against accepting LGBTQ+ people. Muslims who are socially conservative have decried what they regard as an increase in LGBTQ+ indoctrination in educational institutions and society at large. A city council in Michigan with a significant Muslim population outlawed pride flags flying on public grounds. At an anti-LGBTQ+ protest in Ottawa, little children trampled pride flags. Similar demonstrations were held in Calgary and Edmonton, where a teacher was secretly caught on camera lecturing Muslim pupils against skipping class as part of a nationwide protest against Pride Month events. The teacher's remarks were deemed Islamophobic by the National Council of Canadian Muslims. Islam pushes her thoughts on liberal society, pride and protest. To protest Pride Month celebrations in public schools, the Christian anti-abortion group Campaign Life Coalition planned this year's National Pride Flag Walkout Day on June 1. Several pray-ins organized at Catholic school boards and dioceses across Canada also backed the walkout demonstrations. Due to recent political lobbying triumphs in Uganda, where the government passed some of the strictest anti-LGBT+ laws in the world, Christian evangelicals have increased their efforts to attack LGBTQ+ populations. They do this because they have significant financial resources and solid religious networks. Conservative religious organizations are also attempting to take control of school boards in Canada by supporting candidates who run on anti-LGBTQ+ and parent voice agendas. Much of this rhetoric is disguised as talk about parental rights and safeguarding children, which is fundamentally predicated on the idea that teaching about LGBTQ+ identities is incorrect. These strategies have been used in the past, most notably by opponents of homosexual rights like Anita Bryant. Her Save Our Children campaign from the 1970s aimed to repeal anti-discrimination legislation and forbid gay and lesbian persons from working in the public sector or as teachers. Campaigns like these helped prominent homophobic televangelists like Jerry Falwell, Pat Robertson, Jimmy Swaggart, and others establish their careers by painting homosexual and lesbian communities as pedophiles who directly threatened the moral foundation of society. Right-wing politicians and talk show hosts frequently utilize language and rhetorical devices that associate LGBTQ+ identities with derogatory terminology like groomer. With a logical twist and weird new partnerships, what was once outdated is now contemporary. Forming new alliances. Far-right evangelicals have been enticing conservative Muslims to join their bigoted campaign against LGBTQ+ rights and inclusion to forge new alliances of support. Sadly, some hardline Muslim leaders are now stoking prejudice against people who identify as LGBT or non-binary. For instance, certain Muslim think tanks and conservative imams have embraced similar narratives about the perils of pride movements and the moral decline of Western cultures. They cautioned about allying with the progressive left and advocating for LGBTQ+ equality. Islam allows for gender diversity. Gender diversity has long been respected in Muslim countries. Even today, there are still many different gender identities, such as the Hijras of South Asia and the Kanith of the Middle East, despite societal persecution. Multiple gender identities exist throughout South Asia, like the Zanana, Hava, and Kodi. Additionally, there is an acknowledgement of distinct gender traditions on the Indonesian island of Sulawesi. Islamic scholarship has also been written about accommodating sexual and gender diversity in Islam. One of us, Hunaid B. Jahangir, has worked on Muslim same-sex relationships. This study extends an appeal to Muslim academics with traditional training to re-examine the matter from a fresh angle. This academic work also builds on the groundbreaking contributions of specialists such as author Samar Habib and Islamic studies expert Scott Kugel. Gender identities are also widely acknowledged in Islamic law. During the time of the Prophet, the Mukannath, effeminate men, of Medina occupied the social setting. Muslim jurists developed laws regarding inheritance, funerals, and prayer for those who are kuntha mushkil, of an undecided gender. In traditional Islamic literature, such people were given prayer space between the rows of men and women. Decisions regarding such marriages are documented in the Encyclopedia of Islamic Jurisprudence. A group of Pakistani clerics issued Islamic decrees allowing third-gender people to get married in 2016. The highest echelons of both Sunni and Shia Islam have also issued decrees approving gender reassignment surgery. However, acceptance does not follow simply from permitting gender reassignment surgery. For example, while being recognized as the global leader for sex change, Iran strongly opposes LGBTQ+ rights, avoiding joining the anti-LGBTQ+ train. However, when Muslim organizations in Western democracies join the anti-LGBTQ+ movement, they go against their tradition's long-standing tolerance of sexual and gender diversity. The LGBTQ+ Muslim adolescents who their families and communities may abandon are our main concern. Thank goodness Muslim community organizations offer crucial sexual health instruction that respects Islamic law and customs. When young people struggle with their sexuality and gender in a setting where they are not allowed to be open about their identities, community education is incredibly crucial. Muslim leaders, such as the late Marhavat, recognized and expressed compassion for Muslims who struggled to balance their sexual and religious identities. Contrary to what many hardline organizations would have us believe, Islamic teachings on sexual and gender diversity are much more varied. The fundamental rights of individuals that make secular and democratic society possible are threatened and undermined by discrimination based on religious dogma. We must all fight against prejudice and hatred from within and outside our communities to create a more inclusive society.